Cancers, hello, hello, my loves. Welcome to Vivid Vibration. My name is Christina. I hope that y'all are doing well. Cancers, legit sat here and shuffled and shuffled and shuffled and shuffled and shuffled. Got one card, the offering. Shuffled and shuffled and shuffled and shuffled and shuffled. Finally got another card, the lover. And all I heard was, well, you know why. Here. It feels I don't know. I'd almost feel like somebody just like shoving something at you. You know what I mean? I don't know. Let's do clarifiers and see what else we get because the fuck. Cancers. The King of Cups. Well, I mean, I don't know because it does kind of feel a little out of the blue. Like I think maybe that's where that energy of like almost having something shoved at you, because it feels almost resentful. Like here you already know why. But I don't even feel like you're mad about it. I feel like you're grateful, but like also you just don't know how to not be an asshole sometimes. I don't know if that's you or somebody that you're dealing with. You know, obviously these are general reads and you can be on either side of the story. You know, like take what resonates, how it resonates for you and leave the rest. But yeah, I mean, solid though. It does kind of feel out of the blue because there's just this idea of like, well, the Eight of Wands is like quick action, you know, like this decision. And the Knight of Wands is also kind of like, you know, the Knights are very, like, they're active. They come in with these messages. And I feel like somebody's just like coming in with this message that seems to be very like elevated in its stature. So there is an idea behind manifesting, right? So like when you're intentionally manifesting with other people, right? And you intentionally manifest things into your life, you know, and you're like, okay, this is what we're doing, this is when we're doing it, this is how we're doing it, you know, and then as you're making these plans, you realize that you're already in the process of manifesting this and you're calling it in because you are creating it, right? It's a high. Like it is. It's a high. I love manifesting with people that I love because we have beautiful experiences and beautiful memories. You know what I mean? But it's like I just feel this, well, I don't know because I feel like there's somebody who wants to manifest with you and they're like you already know. You know what, I don't know why it just feels so very like aggressive almost. But I think it feels aggressive because there's just this like pent up energy. Honestly, is what I feel. I feel this sense of pent up energy. And I don't know, like this release of that energy because this energy is just excited to, I feel like manifest the life that you love and stop trying to figure things out that don't really make sense to you because you know, especially for those of us who have been in the practice of manifestation, I think that it is important to us that we are aligned with people who we are able to, I think, practice that art with, right? And I kind of get the feeling that there's somebody who's been watching you who wants to like manifest with you. How could that play out? I mean, in terms of, I mean, I know some of my cancer risings, like they're very artistic. They've got, you know, one of my one of the Telltale PDX, shout out, all my love. But she's a Cancer and runs this organization of it's live storytelling theater. And then, she raffles off, prizes from like local businesses and breweries and everything. And I do reads for like winners of it, and actually got two of the stories that I got published were through her, and that, like that whole thing, and just like beautiful, amazing people. But like, if like maybe there are people who want to work with you who are like they've been wanting to work with you, and they know that you know that they want to work with you, you know what I mean? But I feel like this, like, well, since you already know, then I have to show up like this, because I do feel like there is almost like this sense of resentment. But I don't know, like however it plays out for you, I do feel like there's just this sense of like there's somebody who's been wanting to work with you. And I almost feel like manifesting in opposition of you and experiencing the results of that. And I think being frustrated and wanting to manifest in alignment with you. I think that's what they want. And I think you've already seen their dreams. You've already seen their fantasies. You've already gone down all of the paths of their many variations of thought. You know what I mean? It's like, what are you hiding exactly? There's nothing to hide. And I feel like for whoever it is that you're dealing with, I feel like that frustrates them a little bit. But like also, like, do you really want to be around people you have to hide from? Because I don't. You know what I mean? I just think like enough of that already, right? Like enough of sitting around feeling like you're missing out, feeling like you're not experiencing all the things that you're deserving of. You know what I mean? And I think that this opportunity, when it presents itself to you, I don't know, maybe part of this frustration that this person is experiencing is the idea that it's like, I feel like it's not, and this feels very specific, but I do feel like there is this idea of it's not as grand as I wanted it to be. Like I was trying to do all of these things and you are insisting on this small thing. You know what I mean? But it's like, I don't know. For some reason I do feel like there's just kind of been this like, maybe this is just somebody who's wanted to work with you for a while, and it seems like they're just keep they just keep getting blocked because you're not going to be forced down like a well-intended path that leads to hell. You know what I mean? Like, and if anybody wants to take you down those well-intended paths that lead you into hell, then you exit left, And I think that there's almost the sense of like, well, you know, I feel like maybe exiting left because like, when like if people want you around, like they let you know that they tell you they want you around, you know what I mean? And if they don't, then what are they doing, you know what I mean? And how is your experience with that? And I don't know. I mean, I just feel like there have been a lot of questions that we've had to ask along the way with, the many relationships that we've encountered, whether they've been with, friends or lovers or, communities that we've engaged in. I just feel like there's been a lot of just really having to turn our backs on a lot of things because, cancers aren't confrontational people, like I don't enjoy having I like will I confront a motherfucker if I have to? Yeah, for sure. Like no questions asked, but like also I don't prefer to body that energy at any point in time if I don't have to. You know what I mean? So I just kind of feel like if I feel like I'm going to be put in a situation where I'm going to have to somehow feel like I'm always trying to figure things out, never really feeling like I know what's going on, then like why would I do that, right? And it's just kind of like I feel like well, this person looks at you and they're like, well, I was trying to do all of these, like grand gestures. And it's like, well, I don't want your grand gestures, like, and if that's what that is to you, then, like, that's okay. I don't need that. Um, well, it seems like a point of conflict in like what you need versus what you want and what other people think that you need and what other people think that you want. And how does that translate? And how does it not always translate? And for whatever reason, there's a person or a group of people or a business or something that like there was something that wasn't translating. And I feel like now it's translating. And you're being made an offer that I think seems a little out of the blue because I don't get the feeling that you had any confidence or like faith or hope in this endeavor or this partnership or this relationship. Like, so I don't know. I don't know how you feel about it because all I'm feeling is like a little, what? And yet it seems like what you're doing is you're moving away from a lot of lack, I mean, there's definitely a separation because I feel like, we've worked really hard to exist in a mentality of abundance, right? I exist in abundance. And because I exist in abundance, I do not know lack. And yet, if we experience lack in areas of our life, whether that's at work or with friendships or with, like whatever, it's just kind of like our tendency is to just like crab up and scuttle off. And I kind of get the feeling that we crabbed up and we scuttled off away from people. And I think that you've got the Emperor, the Three of Cups, or the King of Cups and the King of Wands. For some of my cancers, I think that you could have a choice. For other of my cancers, I think maybe you've just got, like a very masculine energy that's showing up as like a divine masculine energy. Because I just feel like there's passion, there's action, there's, the Emperor is like a solid foundation, right? And I just feel like this offer that's being made is like all of the things. Here are all of the things. You know what I mean? The judgment was passed. The ruling was made. I just feel like there's a sense of cancers focusing on yourselves, working on yourselves, standing in your abundance, existing in abundance, and knowing that you can't accept anything that does not match your magic with magic, right? If it doesn't match my abundance with abundance, if if that's too big of an energy, right? I just feel like, and that's been in our reads, Cancer. We've been in the corner just like working on what we're doing and focusing on, developing our own ideas and schemes and you know what I mean, like all the things that we've been doing. And I think we've gotten bigger in our shell, right? That's been in our reads and we've outgrown it in a lot of ways. And I feel like for a lot of us, this is like we're breaking out of our shell. But I feel like we're breaking out of our shell in a lot of ways. Well, because it does come through as the divine masculine. And I know I have Cancer men here, and either side of the story, you know, like you could be showing up as a divine masculine because in terms of like the divine masculine and the divine feminine, right? And this is, and I don't want to, I'm not here to discuss gender roles, you know, but like in terms of like the divine energies themselves and how they are different from one another. It is the divine masculine energy that is meant to protect the divine feminine. And if the divine feminine does not feel protected, then that is not a divine masculine energy that is capable of offering her that level of divinity, like divine protection. Do you know what I mean? And so however that plays out for you, but I just kind of feel like there's this like here. I don't know how I feel about the resentment though. You know what I mean? Like, do you want something from somebody who begrudges you for giving it to, like, for having to give that to you? No, you know? So I don't know, Cancers. I don't know how you, how you're going to feel about this. The box, the castle, and Anima Mundi. Well, again, because you don't want something that's begrudgingly given to you. Because if it's given to you begrudgingly, then it becomes a trap. Because you've become the castle. You've become the hollowed out shell of a vessel that's drafty and trapped. You know, and it's kind of like you don't want to do that. You don't want to exist in that. You don't want to be in that energy. You don't want to have abundance that's met with lack. You know what I mean? I just feel like this, like I've worked too hard. I've worked way too hard. You know, I'm too conscious of my value, and too aware of the red flags. You know, but I think that for whatever reason, someone that you're dealing with or have been dealing with, I don't know, because I don't know how long this person's been in your life. I couldn't tell you. I am just reading the energy that is present with me right now. But Cancers, it's good for us. You know what I mean? It's good for us because I think we're being met with a sense of, well, and I love, you have all of the suits. King of Cups, King of Wands, Emperor, and the Queen of Pentacles. But I feel like whatever judgment was passed against another person, like that almost incites their judgment to, well, because it feels like a magic trick for like my last trick. But I feel like the last trick is like the one thing that they were not doing the whole time. However, that resonates for you as an individual, because these are general reads, and please always practice discernment. You know, apply it to where it resonates for you. It can be friendships, relationships, work situations, whatever. But yeah, that's the read. So thank you so much for spending some time with me and sharing your energy with me. If this video did resonate, please do give me a like, share, and subscribe, and I will see y'all again soon. Bye.